on Becoming a Grandpa, Kerry.
Fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests, I want you to know that I was really jazzed when I found out I was going to be a grandpa. I was looking forward to winding my grandchild up like a watch and then sending him home to mom and dad. I was looking forward to holding him, so I did what babies do, and giving him back to mom and say, here, you change him. I was looking forward to playing roughneck games with him until I cried, and then I'd give him back to dad and say, I don't know what he's crying about. In short, I was looking forward to having all the fun and none of the responsibility. But then my wife threw a damper on that when she read me an excerpt from an Ogden Nash poem that goes something like this. Everyone would love to have a baby around who was lots of fun and no responsibility, but I can think of no one but a mooncalf or a gaby that would trust their own child to raise a baby. So you have to personally superintend your child from diapers to pants and from bottle to spoon, because you know your own child hasn't sense enough to come in out of a typhoon. Well, I realized how true that was. I knew that all the responsibility was going to fall on my shoulders. Well, I began to stoop on the weight of that responsibility. And I thought about it, and I realized not only that, but grandpas are old. I knew this because my grandpa was old. True, when I was born, he was about the age I am now. But he was an old man. You could tell. He was bald. And in those days, people didn't shave their head bald on purpose. He smoked a pipe with Prince Albert tobacco. Only had men smoke pipes. And he wore suspenders. He even played old man games like horseshoes. He was really old. Well, if that wasn't bad enough, I looked over at my wife, and I realized that, well, just yesterday, I was married to a sweet young thing. But pretty soon, I'm going to be married to a grandma. And I trembled with fear at the closing words of Nash's poem, because I knew I might slip up. And those words went like this. If you want to get to the end of the trail with an uncut throat, don't go around saying, quote, I don't mind being a grandpa, but I hate being married to a grandma, unquote. Well, sun went behind the clouds and the sky turned gray. Things were looking pretty dismal at that point. But finally, the day came, and I dragged myself to the hospital to see the mother and my new life's burden. I suppose he was cute enough, but to me, he looked like the ball at the end of the chain. I was going to be responsible for this kid from now on. And my daughter looked at me. She handed it to me. Says, look, Dad, it's a boy. We want to name him after you. Well, I looked at the baby. I looked over at my daughter. I looked at the baby. I looked at her. I thought to myself, you know, she's a pretty smart after all. Maybe she can handle this all by herself. So I was able to stand up right again with that responsibility lifted off of my shoulders. Why, things were really looking up. And I looked over at my wife and I said, you know, she may be a grandma, but she's still a sweet young thing. And the birds started singing again. Life was looking really grand. So I was looking forward once again to those times when I could take my kid out and play with him, feed him candy, and get him all wound up and really hyper. And then send him home, Mom and Dad. I didn't have to worry about it after that. And I was looking forward to those times when I'd be sitting at home enjoying a peace and quiet, and knowing that Mom and Dad was sitting at home going crazy because he found him on that drum set I got him for his birthday last year. And I know that first time when he hits his first home run, I'll be up there in the stands just cheering away. And I'll be yelling, "That's my grandson. He's named after me. His name is Geezer."